Hello, good evening. It's Julia here, single mum entrepreneur, coming to you live on day 46 of 365 days of Facebook Lives. So I'm coming to you tonight a little later than usual, but I just wanted to talk about something which came to me today as I was watching this frenzy of people stockpiling stuff because of the threat of the coronavirus. And the threat posed by the coronavirus. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be worried about, the coronavirus. I mean, my mum has a very weak chest, is very prone to chest infections. For the elderly and immunocompromised, it is obviously a very serious worry, as the flu is, for anybody who knows each year and has their flu jab. I have a flu jab each year because I've got asthma, albeit it's quite mild these days. So of course people are going to be concerned. But I noticed today, I thought things are maybe going a bit too far. And it started me thinking about the whole scarcity mindset and how stockpiling loo rolls and toilet roll, bizarre, of course, so it's essential, isn't it? It's an essential of life. Shows this scarcity mindset. So hello, good evening. We're talking about how stockpiling loo rolls shows a sort of an inkling of a scarcity mindset. So I'm no psychologist, but I thought I would just talk a little bit about that whole scenario and also the scarcity versus abundance mindset, which many people will be familiar with already. And it was originally coined, those terms were coined in Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So if you have a scarcity mentality, sort of, simplifying it here, then you tend to see life as one kind of finite bit of pie. And if somebody has a big chunk of that pie, and I find this very familiar in the corporate world, then that's less for everyone else. So, it's very common in the corporate world where, kind of a promotion or a salary increase or whatever, those things were rare. And if you saw someone else getting a promotion, or you always thought, well, that's less for everyone else. It's very, it is kind of very much in that kind of scarcity mindset. Okay, there's not as much for me. That even like with sharing of ideas, people would want to hold back because they thought that if they shared too much, somebody might steal their ideas. That's kind of less recognition for them and so on. And that, for me, was quite difficult to break free from when I left the corporate world and to start my my own business, start working for myself. Obviously the abundance mindset thinks completely differently. They think that it's complete opposite. There's plenty out there for everyone. There's plenty of business out there, there's plenty of customers out there for everyone, and we don't need to worry. Yes, healthy competition is fine, but we don't need to start kind of panicking that there's not going to be enough to go to go around. And I think this is particularly interesting when somebody's thinking about starting their own business, this whole scarcity versus abundance. If you start your own business and if you're thinking of starting your own business, but then you think, well, I can't do it because I don't have enough good ideas, or I don't know enough, or I don't know anything about starting a business. That's obviously very negative. It's more the scarcity mindset, thinking about what you don't have rather than what you do have, rather than thinking, I've got X amount of experience in sales and marketing. I've got a massive network, a massive sort of network of connections on LinkedIn, whatever, I've got plenty of knowledge I can leverage, etc. All you do is focus on what you don't have rather than what you do have. And like I said, I've met lots of people in the sort of corporate world who were very, who were maybe afraid. I don't know, lots of people, but quite a few people who were maybe afraid to step outside and start their own business because they thought, well, the only experience I've got is being employed, being in the corporate world. How can I? And suddenly it's like leaving a comfort zone, isn't it? And if you have a scarcity mindset, often you, because you're so worried about what you might not know about working for yourself or starting your own business, you'd rather stay in your comfort zone. So this was all kind of coming to mind when I saw people stockpiling loo rolls, and how this made me think about the the scarcity versus abundance mindset. And one more thing actually before I leave, about the corporate world, is what's quite interesting as well. You know, I've worked in corporate environments where there's such a fear of being threatened that people would rather not, you know, kind of share ideas with the team, you know. And if you have this kind of scarcity mindset, you're really worried that, you know, people might steal your ideas, or really concerned that, you know, well, I need more recognition. I don't want it to be a team effort, and you feel kind of threatened. And I've had bosses before who were quite threatened because they thought I had more knowledge or whatever than they had, and so yeah, so it's very it's a very difficult place to be. But anyway. So when I saw I saw shelves today on supermarkets, and I saw a clip on Twitter where people were stockpiling loo roll. So basically people in Costco in Farnborough, which is in Hampshire, which is about 10 miles away from where, and maybe not quite that far from where I am. People in Costco, and they were buying massive packets of loo roll. I mean, loads of loo. Now I know loo rolls in this essential. I don't know whether people have kind of misunderstood what happens when they have the coronavirus. You know, I mean, I would certainly use as many alternatives as possible to loo roll if I had to. You know, I have lots of tissue paper. You know, I grew up where the toilet paper in public toilets and schools was like tracing paper, and it was shiny on one side. You know, so it's like, but people obviously panic buying, and it comes from a scarcity mindset, isn't it? It's almost like FOMO. It's like, and it's this thing about, I don't want to feel remorse or regret wishing that I bought more toilet roll. So, you know, we are psychologically sort of programmed to respond to scarcity. Now, obviously, the media is playing a big part in this, because there's this kind of sudden panic buying because people are seeing images of empty shelves everywhere. You know, we see supermarket shelves looking empty, so that triggers that fear that we're going to miss out, or that we're not going to have enough. And again, it goes back to this scarcity belief, doesn't it? Thinking, well, there won't be enough to go around. There won't be enough for me. So I need to, I mean, the fact is, I'm sure there's plenty of places that are still going to be stocking loo roll. And if you have to, you can find alternatives. So anyway, good. If you just joined us watching, we are talking about the scarcity versus abundance mindset, and why me seeing people fighting over toilet roll on TV made me think about this. So it is, but the thing is, the scarcity mindset really triggers an unhealthy competitiveness. So it's not that healthy competition that you might find, and again, back in the corporate world, you know, a healthy competition between salespeople. You know, I've seen salespeople who then get so scared because they think, well, there won't be enough deals for me, and so they get, you know, unhealthily competitive. And this is the thing, it leads to over competitiveness, because you think you're fighting for every last bit of the pie, you know, rather than thinking, well, it's an infinite pie and there's plenty to go around for everyone. So, and this made me think as well about Christmas shopping. Now think about, I don't know if you saw, well, it happens every year. There was something on TV last Christmas where people were fighting, two women I think were fighting over the last turkey in a shop. I can't remember which shop it was and exactly where it was. But people were fighting over the last turkey. Now, if it was me, I'd be thinking, you know, sod it, I'll just have a chicken. You know, I really wouldn't care. You know, I'll just have some chicken, I don't know, I'd just have anything. I'd have a nut roast, I'd have whatever. I'd have some ham or something. You know, it's kind of, I'll have beans on toast if I have to. I'm not really that bothered. But, you know, people get, you know, when scarcity kind of kicks in, people afraid, people get overly competitive, and it really leads to some kind of primal aggression, which is very frightening, you know. And I think I saw a clip last Christmas of some women who were in Hamleys, and they were getting I don't know, it was one particular toy, and again, you know, adverts, TV, yeah, of course they're saying this is a must-have toy. Your kids see it, they go, I really want that toy, you know, whatever. It doesn't happen so much with my kids now because they're getting older, but you know, but yeah, so people, and there were two women who were having this massive ruck, this massive argument about a particular toy, and then one woman, she was sort of mouthing off at the other because she'd taken the last toy, and I thought, you know, I wouldn't be in Hamleys around Christmas anyway. That would be just my version of hell. But at the same time, I just thought, well, this is it, isn't it? This is, people just get, it's this competition kicks in because people think there's not enough for me. There's not enough for me. Instead of thinking there's the whole flipping toy shop in Hamleys and shed loads of stuff that I could possibly buy, and why do I need to even shop in Hamleys anyway, and that whole kind of thing. But there's plenty of stuff out there. There's plenty of shops to get things, and if the worst comes to the worst, if your child really wants it, then wait till it comes back in stock, and say, well, we'll get it in February or something. But this is because, if you have an abundance mindset, you don't worry if things are running out anyway, because you think there's always other options, always other alternatives. And this is the kind of the key, So how do you move from one to the other? What can you do to develop more of the abundance mindset and stop worrying about fighting over toys in Hamleys or whatever, or stockpiling toilet roll, just taking over. I mean, I could not believe empty shelves. Pasta as well. No pasta in Asda when I went today. No pasta. Hand sanitizer, forget it. You just have to wash your hands more. I mean, yeah. Just hand sanitizer's gone, the whole thing. So yeah, but back to the whole scarcity mindset and abundance mindset. Hello, good evening. Nice to have you here watching. Spend time. I'm not saying that you can always spend time with people who have an abundance kind of mindset, as opposed to, a scarcity mindset. But you do need to have a mix, and you do need to spend time with people who do have that sort of view of, there are endless possibilities. There are lots of options. I have a number of options open to me. There's just not one thing I need to do in life. There are a number of paths open to me, and I can explore different opportunities. I don't just have to stick, going down one path the whole time. So you can spend time with individuals or be watching. Hi, Leslie. Hi. Nice to see you. Or you can be, kind of watching people online, or watching, stuff of people who do have that kind of very positive and abundance related mindset. It's also very important that, in your relationships or professional or personal, that, you have what we used to call in sales, like win-win situations, so that, one person isn't thinking, well, I've got more than you, and, and there's not this kind of imbalance where one person feels that they've missed out and the other hasn't, and that there's no sort of compromise. So create those win-win situations where both parties feel as if they have benefited in some way, kind of spend time brainstorming solutions that keep sort of both sides happy. And I used to do that a lot in the corporate world. I was, in my relationships, in my deals and so on, and negotiations, I really put a huge emphasis on making sure that both, my side, my company's side, and the client side, that both parties were happy, and that nobody sort of walked away then feeling that they had missed out, and that there was that abundance on both sides. Another sort of aspect of the abundance mindset is, being grateful. And I know we can sort of one off during the day, so I'm really grateful for this. But what I've started doing at night is, before I go to sleep, before I nod off, crash out, I think, okay, I'm going to write 5 things down today that I'm grateful for. And they can sometimes be little things. It doesn't need to be massive things. It can just be little things. I've started thinking of the 5 things that I'm grateful for that day. And also potentially, 5 things that I can possibly do the next day that are kind of much more in that sort of positive mindset, that will keep me that sort of sense of really sort of healthy well-being. So, okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about? Okay, yeah, so train your mind to see the possibilities and to see more options. And then this is particularly true, I think, for everybody, not just when you start your own business, is that you see open doors rather than closed doors. You think, you don't think so much, well, I can't do that. Well, I could never do that. I mean, obviously there are certain things that I could never swim the channel, because I'm not a very good swimmer, let's be realistic here. But if you've got a scarcity mindset, you tend to stay in your comfort zone. You do tend to stay in your comfort zone because you haven't opened yourself to the other possibilities that might be waiting for you. So you think, well, I'll just stick with what I know because I'm scared of what I don't know. And I'm scared of trying to learn new things. Whereas, me as a person, I love learning so much that I think I learn too much, and then I'm kind of stuck with, well, what the heck do I do now? Because I've learned all these different things. But yeah, an abundance mindset is fueled by the belief that there are plenty of options and there are plenty of paths open to you, not just one thing for life. So you just really have to get rid of those thoughts that tell you that you can't do it. Yeah, and I know it is not easy. I spent many years in the corporate world thinking that was the only life I'd ever have. And of course, when you keep thinking, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that, you kind of condition your brain to throw out anything that contradicts that kind of negative belief. Your brain is then trained to just completely kind of, toss out the window any other kind of option available to you, and then you just don't see what options are available to you. So you kind of see how this is working, you see how this is playing out. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share tonight, and it gave me great joy when I started thinking about it. Hence why I always write everything down or type it all down, so I remember to kind of pass everything on when I'm doing these lives. And it all came from me seeing people stockpiling toilet roll. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually had to buy loo roll because I had run out. But the very sight of those empty shelves, I must say, it just does trigger in you. Because we're also conditioned to be socially conscious as well, as in to pick up those signals of what other people are doing, and that sort of triggers, well, should I be doing it as well? So seeing those empty shelves of loo roll, even, I kind of thought, should I have bought some toilet roll? So it's very, very powerful. These triggers are very powerful. But I had to walk away even from buying too many packets of loo rolls myself. And on that note, this is how I got from linking lack of toilet rolls, stockpiling toilet rolls, to talking about scarcity versus abundance mindset. But I hope you've enjoyed watching. Leslie, thank you so much for watching tonight. If you would like or love my video, that would be great. If you watch it later or another time, please put #replay in the comments, and if there's anything you'd like to add, of course, do put it in the comments for me, because then Facebook will love me even more. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you have a brilliant rest of the day or evening, and I will see you tomorrow on day 47. Thanks very much. Bye. God bless.